Counsel, are we prepared for closing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel for the defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel for the plaintiff, do you wish to reserve time for rebuttal if you have any time remaining?
Yes, Your Honor.
We'll do so. Then counsel for the plaintiff, we'll hear your closing argument.
May it please the court,
Counsel.
counsel, Your Honor, and honorable members of the jury. On May 5th, 2015, Katie collapsed after she drank Jack with John juice. Her mother thought she was watching her own child die. Katie has sustained injuries that she will never recover from. Today's case is about whether or not JJJ Beverages is liable due to their negligence. JJJ Beverages' own CEO, Carol Hudson, has demonstrated in his testimony that his company was indeed negligent. He has admitted to breaking ABA guidelines. These guidelines are an industry standard, but he chose to ignore them. On the day of Katie's collapse, after the recommendation of a friend, she drank 2 cans of Jack juice out of a 6-pack. There was no warning that 2 cans would be dangerous, or a warning to even discourage you from drinking multiple cans. Later, when Katie arrived at the hospital, she was diagnosed with long QT syndrome, which Dr. Hayden Moran insists was triggered by low potassium levels. However, when Katie received potassium supplements, her QT interval did not return to a healthy amount. Only after the caffeine from JJJ left her system did she have a healthy QT interval. The only reasonable conclusion is that the caffeine from JJJ caused this episode of long QT. In Andy Stone's testimony, we learned that he's been the coach of the speech and debate team for 17 years. Yet, in those 17 years, there has not been a single energy drink-related accident. That is until JJJ came onto the market, because just a few months later, Katie had an accident. This is because JJJ is an unreasonably dangerous product, and it is marketed with 300 milligrams of caffeine per serving just to stand out from the competition. JJJ Beverages cares more about their sales than about their consumers. In fact, they were so arrogant that they did not conduct their own tests on drinks with as much caffeine as their own. Dr. Hayden Moran doesn't even regret this choice, this oversight, even with Katie's current condition. Hayden Moran thought that looking into previous losses would be enough to make sure that the company was safe and not the product itself. Katie was an intelligent student that did not misuse JJJ. She was a minor and she cannot be held to the same standards as an adult. She exceeded the degree of care that was expected of her. There's no doubt that Katie got hurt because of the failure of JJJ Beverages to carry out their duty as a manufacturer and seller. This company claims to be a local, caring business that loves Carter City. However, their arrogant indifference towards their consumers had led to Katie's current condition. She's now a 17-year-old with a mental capacity of a 4-year-old. In fact, she's not even here today to testify because she can't, because of the damage caused by JJJ. And now it is up to you to make sure that JJJ Beverages pays for what they have done to Katie. Nobody can reverse the damage done to her, but you alone can make sure that she is justly compensated for her suffering. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, counsel. Counsel for the defense.
Yes, Your Honor. May it please the court?
Counsel.
Counsel? A very tragic event occurred on May 5th, 2015. And of course, an event like that should never have to happen to anyone. The defense and JJJ Beverages greatly sympathizes with Katie Johnson and her family, especially Robin Johnson. But caffeine was not the cause of Katie's collapse. Caffeine is not an established, proven, or well-known cause of acquired long QT syndrome, but potassium is. Katie had had a bout of the flu the day before, which caused her to have very low potassium levels. Studies have been published showing no correlation between caffeine and long QT syndrome. Well, there have been several studies published that show a very large correlation between low potassium levels and acquired long-QT syndrome. Dr. Haymoran relied on studies like this when creating his product and when reviewing Katie's case. Now, Mr. Montgomery, on the other hand, didn't rely on any studies whatsoever. He came to his own conclusion. This conclusion was simply not the most obvious conclusion for a fairly common problem, since acquired long-QT is actually very common. It is usually caused by low potassium levels. The CEO of Jackalope Java Juice, Carol Hudson, was not required to follow ABA guidelines. They were simply guidelines and not requirements. But he did so anyways, for the safety of the consumer. The only reason that Jackalope Java Juice was marketed as a dietary supplement was because they use a natural and very common source of caffeine that's widely used in the industry. 3 years of research was conducted for JJJ beverages, including taste testing, quality testing, and market research. Each can of Jackalope Java Juice clearly warned against consumption by children, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. Parker Collins drank a can as well, but he is completely fine. He's not suffered from acquired long-QT syndrome or from ventricular fibrillation, and he's here in court today to testify because he did not suffer from a bout of the flu. His potassium levels were completely stable, completely normal. JJJ did not cause Katie's collapse. Her low potassium levels did. The plaintiff has shown the burden of proof, and they have not laid enough evidence to support their cause that caffeine caused her acquired long-QT syndrome. And the plaintiff has the opportunity to come back onto the stand and to try to convince the court against everything the defense has said. And if they take that chance, I ask that the jury remember the facts of the case. Katie Johnson had the flu, which caused her to have very low potassium levels. Low potassium levels are a very well-known cause of acquired long-QT syndrome, while caffeine is not. And Dr. Haymoran, he relied on these types of studies to come to his conclusion, while Dr. Montgomery did not. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Would counsel for the plaintiff wish to offer rebuttal?
Yes, Your Honor.
How much time do we have for rebuttal, counsel?
1 minute and 45.
1 minute and 45 seconds, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Katie's long-QT syndrome must have been caused by the caffeine from JJJ. This is because when Dr. Montgomery provided Katie with potassium supplements, her QT interval did not return to a safe amount. Only after the caffeine had left her system did she have a healthy QT interval. Dr. Haymoran insists that there are not enough studies showing the correlation between caffeine and long QT. This is because during the 3 years prior to JJJ's release, he himself did not conduct a single study. And this is a decision that he does not even regret, given Katie's condition. JJJ contains an unsafe amount of caffeine. It has more caffeine than any other beverage on the market. And this is just to stand out. JJJ Beverages cares more about making money than about their actual customers. And that's why they must pay for what they have done to Katie. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before we send the judges out to do their math, does either team wish to assert that there has been any material violation of the rules of the competition by their opposing counsel and team? Counsel for the plaintiff, do you wish to assert any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Counsel for the defense, do you wish to assert any such objection?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. I will now excuse the scoring judges to step out into the hall and do your math.